This video is brought to you by Private Internet Access. Start surfing a safer internet and protecting your private information right now by going to privateinternetaccess.com/entertaintheelk. I finally got around to watching the second batch of episodes for Season 5 of Arrested Development. To be honest, I completely forgot about them. They were released on Netflix over a year ago in March of 2019 with a deafening whisper. No one was talking about it. There was little to no advertising. Even Netflix seemed to dump the episodes quietly amongst their massive catalog. I remember when the newer episodes were released, they didn't even appear on the homepage or under new releases. I had to make a point to search the title in order to find them. All the fanfare that surrounded the resurrection and release of Season 4 6 years prior was long gone.
Well, that's not a great sign.
Netflix is now a gigantic production company churning out original content every week, but back in 2013, it was only just beginning to dabble in original series. House of Cards and Hemlock Grove had just premiered a few months prior, but that was it. Arrested Development had changed as well. The creative brilliance and cult status it earned during its 3-year run on Fox wasn't the same show that returned years later on Netflix. So what happened? Where exactly did Arrested Development go wrong?
I've made a huge mistake.
When Arrested Development premiered on November 2nd, 2003, it was immediately met with mediocre ratings. Though a Bush-era satire about a wealthy family of narcissistic dimwits was never designed to appeal to a mass audience. It wasn't a show you could passively watch or tune into every few weeks, and it wasn't a show that held the audience's hand through its layered storylines. Arrested Development challenged its audience creatively. The devoted fans that stuck with the show were rewarded with sight gags, puns, callbacks, and slapstick humor that was jam-packed into every second of the show. Critics immediately took note. After its first season, Arrested Development won 5 Emmy Awards, including Best Writing, Best Directing, and Best Comedy Series. That same high level of excellence continued on throughout the show's first 3 seasons. But the show's ratings remained mediocre as well. A huge reason is because Fox clearly didn't know how to market the show. Commercials were completely tone-deaf and failed to properly encapsulate what made the show so special.
Right, get a new one in there. Knows how to market a show that won 5 motherfucking Emmys, Golden Globes, SAG Awards, WGA Awards, DGA Awards, Producers Guild Awards. If you can't market that kind of show and get better ratings, then maybe the problem doesn't lie here. Maybe it lies with marketing.
Many shows lived and died by the Nielsen ratings, but during Arrested Development's run, there was a paradigm shift in how people were watching television. By 2003, the Nielsen ratings were basically obsolete. They didn't take DVR viewings into account, like the then emerging TiVo. Arrested Development attracted a younger audience that wasn't watching television live anymore. They were watching it whenever they wanted to. So Arrested Development had a larger audience than the Nielsen's indicated, but unfortunately, advertisers were still using the out-of-date system as their benchmark for commercial rates. And even though word of mouth was growing and DVD sales were climbing, it didn't matter. Fox dumped the last 4 episodes on February 10th, 2006, coinciding with the opening ceremonies to the 2006 Winter Olympics. A fitting end to a show that received zero help from its network during its run. And so, after 3 years, the story of a wealthy family who lost everything and the one son who had no choice but to keep them all together was cancelled. And even though it was sad to say goodbye to a show that was cancelled in its prime, the Season 3 finale was a perfect ending. It beautifully wrapped up the major storylines while also serving as a bookend to the pilot. It was bittersweet, but an overall satisfying conclusion. Arrested Development's legacy lasted long after its cancellation, with a rabid fanbase that grew more and more every year, and its single-camera format with fast-paced jokes and gags permeated the industry, influencing shows that came after it like 30 Rock, It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, The Office, Parks and Recreation, and Community. After years of speculation regarding a revival in the form of a feature film, multiple feature films, or a television series, Netflix accomplished the seemingly impossible by bringing back Arrested Development for a 4th season after 7 years. But when it premiered, it took only a few minutes to realize that this wasn't the same show. All the bells and whistles were there, but it played out more like a shallow imitation of what came before. And there's a few major reasons why Season 4 just didn't work. Arrested Development became a victim of its own success while trying to reassemble the cast for Season 4. Basically, everyone associated with the show blew up in popularity after Arrested Development went off the air. And so juggling busy schedules and prior commitments made getting everyone together impossible. creator Mitch Hurwitz and the rest of the creators were forced to try a more experimental season format that focused on individual characters each episode. By doing so, they immediately stripped away the cast's incredible on-screen chemistry, which was the best part of the show. The consequences of this were felt immediately. The dynamic of the clashing, egocentric characters was funny when they were forced together, but when isolated, they became pathetic, sad, unfunny, and borderline insufferable. The character that suffered the most from this isolation is probably Michael. He always served as the moral center of the Bluth family, the straight man forced to keep them all together. From the beginning of the series, we're made aware that he's a widower, even though it's a fact that's only referenced but never really brought to the forefront. It's a part of who he is, and an underlying motivation for why family is so important to him, and why he's always determined to save his family from their own chaos. But in Season 4, he began to change. Without the rest of the family to play straight man to, he lost his identity and quickly devolved into just another incompetent, sleazy member of the Bluth family.
I'm gonna have sex with you. For money.
The cast was separated, episodes were overlong, with most episodes running around 35 minutes in length, compared to 21 minutes over at Fox, and the non-linear, convoluted storyline made it hard to keep track of what was going on. Because of that, they started over-relying on Ron Howard's narration to fill in the gaps. Arrested Development had always relied on Howard's narration to help shovel exposition to the audience, but it was used sparingly in the first few seasons, only when necessary. The narration would merely set up the scenes with necessary information, or transitions, but it never tread on the actual scenes as they played out. But in Season 4, the narration never seemed to let scenes breathe and play out naturally. It was no longer the characters driving the story, it was wall-to-wall narration. 4 years after it was released, Hurwitz went back and re-edited the episodes in a more linear order, hoping to help with the season's coherency issues, but it didn't do much to help improve such a misguided season. When the first half of Season 5 premiered in 2018, the only major buzz was generated from an awkward New York Times interview with the cast, an interview that touched on Jeffrey Tambor's volatile on-set behavior with Jessica Walter.
I have to let go of being angry at him. He never crossed the line on our show with any, sexual whatever. Verbally, yes, he harassed me, but he did apologize. I have to let it go, and I have to give you a chance to for us to be friends again.
Absolutely.
The first batch of these episodes for Season 5 dropped on May 29th, 2018. All talk leading up to the premiere was that the creative staff had learned their lesson about splitting up the cast from their experimental Season 4. It sounded like the show was aiming to be more like Seasons 1 through 3. The standalone episodes were gone, but they were replaced with an overarching storyline containing tired plot points from Season 4, like Fake Block, Building the Wall, George's testosterone issues, and Tobias's relationship with Debris, all surrounding the disappearance of Lucille 2. Stretching these tired plot points from Season 4 past their breaking point was one issue, but having everything circle around Lucille 2's disappearance made the entire season feel very one-note and repetitive. I think that was my major issue with Season 5. The entire season felt like one long 5-hour movie randomly split into pieces. Each episode felt exactly the same, and each individual episode couldn't be enjoyed on its own. In comparison, take the Season 1 episode Bringing Up Buster. In the episode, there are season-long plot points happening in the background, like Michael working to save the Bluth Company, but there are also smaller plot lines in the individual episode, like Buster moving out of Lucille's home, Tobias, George Michael, and maybe putting on a play, Job looking for a place to live, and Lindsay trying to keep her dress. Early episodes of Arrested Development were full of simple storylines expertly stitched and layered together that would eventually converge at the end. Each episode could be enjoyed on its own. There were running gags contained to each episode. In this instance, the cornballer burns.
Hot. Be
careful.
Hot.
Mother of God! Oh! Every damn time! Oh, this is a big one.
The slow Buster reveals. Steve Holt chants.
Steve Holt!
Steve Holt!
Steve Holt?
Steve Holt!
And Buster's bleep-filled rants.
That's gonna
You old horny slut!
Well, no one's gonna top that.
And there's also callbacks to prior episodes, like Tobias crying in the shower.
Why, Tracy? Why?
And Michael saying,
Buster, you can't do that on the balcony, buddy. Buster, you can't do that in the snack room, pal.
These callbacks rewarded its devoted fans for paying attention, but they weren't required knowledge to enjoy the show, and they weren't the overall substance that pushed the story forward. Since Season 5 had one long, ultra-serialized story arc, the episodes weren't self-contained. There weren't any smaller plot lines that could be tracked and resolved in a single episode to give some sense of resolution or to break monotony, so episodes just slogged along. The episodes relied too heavily on callbacks to Seasons 1 through 3, but without the similar strong foundational plot lines, they ended up just feeling hollow. Season 5 came off looking like some Frankenstein corpse, stitched together with callbacks to the Golden Age, along with terrible dubbing, obvious green screens, and a bleak ending that was completely tone-deaf to the rest of the show. And that's because it was never the same show when it came back, just a poor imitation. The brilliantly written, wholly original, infinitely quotable show we all grew to love ended with the Season 3 finale on February 10th, 2006, the day Arrested Development died.
Hey, that's the name of the show.
This video is brought to you by Private Internet Access. We all want to stay safe when surfing the internet, making sure that our private information actually stays private. And since fake block doesn't actually exist, come on! You really need to check out Private Internet Access. Private Internet Access is the leading no-log VPN service with over 1 million paying customers. PC Mag Editor's Choice for 2020, unlimited access to over 3,000 servers in more than 40 countries, and they make it easy with dedicated apps for each platform, including Windows, Mac, iOS, Android, Amazon Fire Stick, Linux, and more. And just one subscription allows you to connect up to 10 devices simultaneously, so all your data is encrypted. Not only will you be able to browse the internet anonymously, hide your IP address, and defend yourself from hackers and data leaks, but you'll also be able to bypass geo-blocking. Geo-blocking prevents you from accessing websites or content outside your country or region. But with Private Internet Access, you can choose a server in over 40 countries and unlock content you wouldn't otherwise have access to.
For example, I've been watching Arrested Development on Netflix here in the United States, but what if that's not available in your country? Well, then you can change your server to one in the United States and instantly have access. Right now, Private Internet Access is offering my viewers 77% off a 2-year plan, which is $259 a month, plus an extra 3 months entirely free. So stop what you're doing and go to privateinternetaccess.com/entertaintheelk. They're even giving new customers a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you can check it out and see what they have to offer at absolutely no risk.
Hey everyone, thanks so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like it and share it with a friend, and also leave me a comment below. Tell me the day you think Arrested Development died, or tell me if you think it was great all the way through. If you're new to the channel, please make sure you subscribe below and also click the bell below. I've had some people reach out to me lately who are subscribed, but they're telling me that YouTube isn't sharing my videos with them, which is super frustrating, obviously. So clicking the bell will make sure that you're notified whenever a new video is dropped. You'll get an email notification. I know it's another annoying step to take, but by doing so, you can ensure that you'll never miss another new Entertain the Elk video whenever it drops. Thank you again so much for watching. Again, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you all next time.